My name is Jerry Brunt. I'm actually running under my title Leiataualesā from Whaleu Manono, in the district of Aingailitai, and this will be my first time running.
Excellent, thank you. I understand you have now become the head of a independence. Would we call it a collective or a grouping?
Well, it's definitely not a political party. Um, it started off with, I think, only a handful of us that kind of came together and discussed the idea of having that support network, of supporting each other. Um, because we don't belong to a political party for our own, reasons. And from there, we've actually gained in numbers and realizing after the nomination closed that there were 44 independent candidates registered for this year's general election. Um, the numbers increased. So we're still not a political party, but um, we call ourselves whatever that you just used, grouping, or and now adopted the phrase independent together because we are still independent candidates, but we've come together, and we find the coming together. We share pretty much the same dream, same aspiration, of us being independent. We really do want to make a difference in what the other from what the other political parties, well-known political parties, are um, pushing out in their manifesto. So
Yeah.
we're definitely not a political party. Who knows? Maybe it's a start of something, but that'll become something to be discussed after this general election. But
After the election.
yes.
Okay. Can you tell us how it came about? Like, who decided at the outset, oh, maybe this is something worth pursuing, getting everyone together?
Um, the handful of us that came together and our group of friends, we're friends, network, and one found out or heard that one is uh, thinking of running. This came before we actually came together before uh, we went and registered ourselves as candidates. We discussed that. Oh, someone rang me and said, "I heard you're running."
Yeah.
Is yep, I'm running and not as a HRPP. I think everyone was thinking that I'll be, and even after coming out as an independent, they said, "Oh, you put yourself out as an independent, but we can see the writings of HRPP on your forehead, and I'm an independent candidate." So one friend rang and confirmed and said, "Yeah, I'm running." And I said, "Yeah, I'm also thinking of running." And I said, "Good. Which party?" And he said, "No, I'm following you. I'm also looking at." So from there, I think one, two, three, maybe four, almost five of us just met up here at the hotel and over barbecue. And we discussed and talked about it. And then we both said, "Look, let's see how many independent candidates that will be registered or running. And it'll be nice to pull ourselves together as a group called Mafutanga. And let's start, you know, let's start discussing what really matters to us as individuals,
Yeah.
as independent candidates." And so from 4 or 5 of us, now we have there's 27 of us with 4 others that, and we respect, and this is the beauty of this group. we value and we respect our independence, our individual beings as candidates, and a few of the independent candidates that have said, "Oh, we just don't want to be seen, but we are there with you until let's go in and see what happens, and then we can." And that's what we've. So there's roughly about 30 something, just over 30, but just shy of 30, the number that we've actually front up. When we did our launch, well, it wasn't really a launching of a party, but we wanted to face up, and with all speculation that
Yeah.
have been, going around that there's a new political party being formed by someone. Um, we've all agreed to do this launch, and it was just so that we wanted to set the record straight and put it out that we are not a political party, but we are a group of independents pulling ourselves together, our resources, our own influence, and we've got members or voters in our respective district or constituents that don't actually vote for us, but they vote for another constituent. And so that's what we've been doing. Pretty much influencing and talking, hey, we've got an independent guy that's running or a candidate. Why not? This is what we stand for. We stand for you, the voter. We're not pushing for a manifesto to promise you all at the other three, but we want you to be the person as a person, not you as just a number that will get us into power. We're not looking for power. We want you, the voter, to be heard, and that's what our politicians, our leaders, have forgotten that it's not just a matter of dishing out those promises during campaigns, leading up to voting. It needs to be real. It can be delivered, and who can deliver? The party. It's nice to have a manifesto, but you need to have a strong candidate, a strong member representing that constituent.
Okay.
That can actually fight for those manifestos or for those the benefits as promised. So that the very core people that put you in there gets it and benefits, and not just your constituent, but the whole country. We need to look at. So see, we've gone through from a little group of friends and aspire to be politicians, leaders, to now this group that I reckon the mainstream political leaders or parties have taken notice of, and they should. They really should. So that's how we came together, and we're now running as, well, not running, but we're putting it out, vote for independent together, meaning vote for the independent candidates. This is the difference that you're all looking for.
Is there a common sentiment amongst all of you of being possibly left behind or passed over by major parties? Is there anything like that in the group?
No, not really. We've made the decision. As I said, we all have different reasons why we went and registered as independent candidates. Some, they still have sentiments for certain political parties, but because they've had already front up 1, 2 candidates already, and the only option that's there for them is, and it is allowed under our Electoral Act,
Yes.
is to contest the constituent seat as an independent candidate. So maybe they still have those preference to be in there, but we've been coming together, I think, for about 2-3 months now, and it's every week we meet. We've come to really accept the values that we've put together ourselves, and we now firmly are bonding together and say, look, collectively, we will actually make a strong voice to the main political parties. If you try to go and after the election and negotiate on your own, they'll take you in as a number, just a number, not you
To get
as
past the line.
Yep, not you as an MP of your constituent, not you as a person, because they've already, the major political parties have already lined up their own agenda, and you are only a number. So, you know, if you think that you're gonna go in and you're gonna make up that number that they need and they'll put you somewhere, you'll be lucky. If we negotiate together as a group, we have a more chance of actually making that difference that we've dreamed of in our own values and discussions. So
Yeah, just touching on you mentioned values. What could you just give us a little brief on exactly what the values are that the group is looking at or focusing on?
okay, so we said one, I think I've already touched on the main one, that we want the voters, we wanted the voters to be the force to be reckoned, not the candidate, not the elected candidate. We tend to forget that the voters put us there. The voters actually put us there. So we need to listen and hear them, and not just a one-off. This is where the importance of you attending and going to your constituent, not just the beginning before the election and towards the end.
Yeah.
There's no point. But to be involved in your constituent right throughout. And not every time is money. All they want is you to be there. So that is our priority. Now we've also, I think we had it in the Observer, in the paper, and we've actually done a write-up. We're looking also at things such as education, our health system. Again, it touches on people. Our focus is on our people. And all those things, our health sector, they're our people, their lives, they are our bilinga, our mothers, fathers, our children. They're not just a statistics. And we need to give that care and quality, not just a Panadol or given to them. They need the quality health care. Education, we talk about education, but it's not getting to the villages, the constituents. There were programs, but the support for our youth in there, such as study centers, and so we want to really go right down to the grassroots. And if they get that exposure and support in the village school, in the primary, in those secondary schools out in the back, and it's not just education for the mainstream or the traditional form of education, Education is not just about classroom. There are youth, there are children, there are people that are gifted in classrooms. But then there are also people that are gifted with their hands, with polytechnic, the
Like vocational.
vocational. And we need to put value into those push, because that is the only way that will develop any sustainable development in the villages and in our families. And then we've also got, oh my gosh, this is the problem when you have so much thing in there. But those are just some of the values that we want to push, and they all focus on human beings, on our people, developing our people to be able to sustain whatever progress that they can to support their families, and not wait around for some handouts, not wait around to ring our aingas overseas and ask for money, because being fortunate to see the families, our own aingas overseas, it's not an easy life. They work 3 jobs when it's winter. They don't know what winter is. And then they send money over here. So we need to look at community projects and stuff that can actually capture the talents, the hidden talents out in the village, not classroom. So we're looking at really taking it back. Not in a bad way saying taking it back, but we want to, for our own people to realize that classroom learning is not the end of the world when you don't make it to NUS or don't go to UPY. Fishing, agriculture, let's work the land again. And our mothers and families, they're gifted, they're very talented with weaving, coming up with all sorts of handicraft. They don't need to come all the way to town to sell. Let's do community projects there, and have tourists come to the village. That is the real Samoa. They get to experience. So there's a whole lot, and we also have in our core values, we really need to have strong enforcement or legislations to combat corruptness. It can be, but the leaders has to start from the leaders. Has to start from us. So we're also looking at, that's the other thing that we want to see. It's a small, beautiful island paradise, but I'd be so wrong, and I'll be lying to say we don't have corruptness in the country. So that's one of the things that we want to make a difference, and we really need to focus on our people. Again, bring harmony back to families. We want to put that family value culture again. We read it, we see it on our social media. So we want to preach that again. We want to put it back and bring families back together. Like we used to enjoy. Put this politics away.
I guess, practically speaking, what do you think that your group can achieve that you wouldn't necessarily be able to achieve? I know you've touched on it a bit in terms of people maintaining their independence, but practically speaking, what do you think you could achieve without actually aligning yourselves with a major party? Because we all know they're very well resourced, and also their history, and people, everyone essentially knows who the main ones are: HRPP, FAST, and now of course SUP. But there's that history behind them, whereas this is a brand new This is
group.
new for Samoa, so yeah, practically speaking, what do you think that you could actually do that a major party wouldn't be able to do?
Bringing families back together, one. The focus on the voters as the priority. Hear them and voice them in Parliament and in every government programs, and for the benefits of the country and not for the benefits of a company, a corporation, or a political party. It's true. This is new. We've never had, correct me, but we've never had a strong, big number of independents. And the caliber of the candidates in independent, some of us are way better than, I mean, I'm not looking down on anybody, but in terms of our own achievements, where we and what we do for living and what we've achieved in life, we can be a force to be reckoned. And you know, and I have so much respect for the old. I always maintain this, you know, respect the wise, the old and wise, and also realize the young and you know, because after all, we learn from the mistakes of the old.
Yes.
The you know, the older and wiser. But don't be afraid to get into a new and try out new ways of doing things. That's the only way you learn. It's the only way to realize, oh no, it doesn't work. Let's try another one. And the world is forever changing, ever evolving. So, you know, we do know that some of the political parties have said, oh, this is absurd to have this group of independents that don't know this and that. And yes, but we are willing, we've jumped in to take that risk, to come in and see how we can contribute to we need a younger generation to lead our country into the next century. And soon they will pass on to greener pasture and to the next life. We need a strong, solid transition to the younger generation to lead. And then when it's our time comes, we move on and get the other generation. So we shouldn't be afraid of change. And that's what we are hoping to bring the independent group of independents. We want to bring in change. We want to bring in, not change dramatically. Hence, this is where we say we go back to our constituent, we go back to our people and talk to them. Because that is where you get the direction that you and the country needs to go. Parties, government will have their own, you know, dreams and what they think the country should head to. But we always need to check our people. Are they willing? Is it going to benefit the people, or is it going to benefit some world financial institution? Is it going to benefit who? Again, we need to go back to our people. That's one impact that we want. As I said, we value our voters, people that put us there. Not just the beginning and the end, and not just over 50 tala or, you know, a box of chicken, or that's not the worth of a voter.
Yeah.
They deserve better than just that short-lived gift that they do. We want to make sure they are part of this growing process, developing process.
You've said that the group of independents don't intend to join in opposition. So clearly that means you'll either join the majority leaders parties or perhaps be the deciding choice for a parliamentary majority. Does that mean your platforms will be absorbed into the political parties that you join? I know you touched a bit on not wanting that, but realistically speaking, if you're saying you don't want to join an opposition, you want to be in a good seat where you can make the changes that you refer to.
Thank you. We've talked about that. Now we want, so there are options. So this is the only type of candidates that can actually move around. And they've been calling us all sorts of names. The uncertain, this and that. But we're probably the smart ones. We've made it very firm in our own discussions that we will not be absorbed by a political party. Even despite the obvious that could happen is one will be the leading majority, having the leading majority. They all want the 2/3 majority. So we've all agreed that we will maintain our independent but collective. So it's a coalition of independents so that we can negotiate. And when we negotiate, we're not going to be joining that party as such. But here's the trick. We need to get 8, minimum a number of 8 to form that. Otherwise, we will be considered as individual independent candidates, and it kind of weakens or because then we will need to, they won't listen. I mean, there's a whole lot of things that will happen, but we need to get number of 8 to even look at possibility of forming something after election. We can. The Independence and Electoral Act can form right there without having to go to a by-election, because we are independent and we don't have to meet and we don't have to join as in becoming a member of a political party.
Yep.
But aligning ourselves as a group of independent. So we will negotiate, and we're not going to go in whichever party. We're not going to go in and then be absorbed in their manifesto and say, oh, this is HRPP. This is, God willing, that we have, numbers for us. We will actually be negotiating as a coalition of independents with whatever political party. But we're not going to go in and go, okay, we're now members of that political party, because then the very essence of what we do not want to happen will happen, i.e., we will basically be under that political party's control. But we don't. We want to make sure our independency retains, but we have formed a coalition with whoever of those, so that we need to, and we've also looked at saying, all right, there are manifestos out. We will rewrite those manifestos with the input of the independents. Because we're not just going to go in and say, all right, for instance, Pelenga, Kola, and this. We will have a look at it carefully and see how it can be delivered. We will put in our own the values that we bring in, and we'll say, all right, now let's revise this manifesto so that it reflects the next 5 years, that it is a coalition of independence, whatever name that we will name ourselves, if we're going to change it, and the political party that's going to be leading the country. But then you never know. It has never happened. But while the 3 main parties have been out promoting their manifestos and why vote for them in their roadshows, we've been quiet. We've been going to our constituents, talking individually, have our own committees, push for why vote for us. We've got the number if the country elects 26 or 20 of us. We've got the number to actually give that option to the country. We could be the one leading the country. I mean, think about it, it's a possibility.
Yes.
It could be HRPP having the majority. It could be sub. It could be fast. It could be us.
Could be you.
It could be us. We've got 44 candidates. So grouping ourselves and coming together, the 30-something, I'm pretty sure the others will join in if they see that, oh my gosh, the independents together have pulled us through. Just like how we did not look at fast in the last election. I think everyone thought, okay, it's going to be HRPP.
Yeah.
But they're not going to get this number that they've enjoyed. And then boom.
It was the shock of the century,
it was
really.
Yeah. So don't rule out the independent together, making that change, that surprise. But, you know, I think the parties are all campaigning, the main parties are all campaigning to get a majority.
The majority.
But I think Samoa has probably won't enjoy a one-party government anymore.
You think those times are finished?
I think so. Whether it's good or bad, I don't think we will get that. Maybe somewhere down the line when we're gone, maybe another generation will come in and be able to persuade the country. But, you know, Samoa learns from its history. We had a party that became a one-party parliament and country for so long. And everyone saying, oh, it's not good, it's not this and that. So we're still in that fear that, oh, it's not good to have a one party dominating. And with having more strong parties vying and candidates vying for, I honestly believe our days and years of enjoying a one party to rule or to form government is gone. It's going to be coalition. It's going to be coalition, and we see it around the Pacific. We see it in New Zealand. A lot of different political thingy, but it's been coalition.
Do you think that would weaken our stability? I feel like maybe, you know, Samoa for a long time has always been named as the most stable country in the Pacific. And for such a small country, above even Fiji, you know, there are issues, PNG. Do you think that if we are looking more towards like possible coalitions in the future, how will that affect our democracy overall?
I don't think it should have any impact on our stability. It's unfortunate what happened to FAST. It didn't have to happen, but that was their own internal. And it wasn't from the coalition of parties that formed the FAST. Because if you really look at FAST, you got FAST. And then you got Tautua and STP. Now the break-up wasn't as a result of FAST and Tautua and STUP. It was really from FAST itself. The Honourable Prime Minister joined FAST, not having a political party, but she joined. So it was really a breakup from there. So it was the leadership battle, not a party. Unfortunate that they went and split the party that they said they formed, but it was really a leadership issue that they had, which it shouldn't. And it resulted in us looking like this and with the snap election now. But we have actually got a very, very strong culture. This is where and why the independence wants to come in and rebuild, reaffirm the family values, the culture values, bring in the pulenga. I mean, just need to remind our own people, not just our people here in Samoa, but our people living overseas. The social media has done so much because there's a whole lot of fake pages. There's a whole lot of, you know, madness going on in the social media.
Yeah.
But when you come together, when families come together for fa'alawilawe, for you see them laughing. You see them being in harmonious, and you know, they pull in overnight 10, 20, 30, 100,000 ta'ala for a fa'alawilawe, for a matai ceremony, for, and they all come together. You see them. So, and that is where the point of difference is at for our country, for Samoa. And most of the time it's miscommunication of false informations. Because when they come into Samoa and see us actually living in the country, we're all socializing together with everybody. And it's not what that is being fed out because of some power struggle or power contest amongst our political leaders. So having a coalition is not a bad thing, and it should never affect our stability. Leaders can work together, they can drive our country, they just need to have that love, genuine love for the country. And it's this power greed, power thing that that's where it gets all wrong. But, and then this, you know, all that noise is up here. But you go to the village, you go to it, there's nothing. Our own Samoa community and in the country, we're stable. We don't have a coup because we don't have an army, and I pray to God we will never have an army. We have a very strong law enforcement, police, who are mostly Samoans, who are Samoan. So when they go to the villages, you know, they also take with them the culture. And when they get to the village or anywhere they go, and they realize, oh, here's my family. Oh my gosh, we're related. This. And so although they are law enforcement agency, but they also go, hey, bro, they always do the familial ties to try and resolve or bring them to peace and that. So no, I really disagree with having a coalition might result in an unstable society or affect our democracy. You go to the village when we have village meetings and that, democracy is being played right there. The chiefs may be yelling at, you know, the Ulavale kids and that, but at the end of the day, they give them what happened. They get them to voice their side, and then they make the decision based on all those. So we've got a very strong community, very strong Matai system that will hold all of us together. And the people that are elected in parliament, they really should probably go back to the village, to their constituent, because quite often we see them and we hear their constituents saying, yeah, the only time last time we saw them is this. We've never seen them again other than seeing them on TV in parliament. Hence why we made it a value for us. We need to go to our constituent and be a part of your constituent. If you've got, like for my constituent of Leuatea, I've got, I think, 15 village, sub-villages. It's impossible for me to go to every village meeting of my village of Paleu, for instance. That's 12 meetings a year. I need to go and attend the others. But I need to split my time. And even everyone that's there, I need to be seen, and I need to go in and get a group of community leaders together. And that is where we can meet and go, all right, this is what is going to be discussed in Parliament. This is what we're looking at doing.
Yeah.
I need your opinion. Take it to the village next month or call a special meeting for the village. I need your feedback. I need what our constituent feel. I need what the leaders in the village say. And then from there, I take that with me. And it shouldn't be making up anything that the village in Apia thinks that this is what is best for them. Not necessarily the best idea for my constituent, because we're demographically and geographically different.
Very different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to ask you, because a lot's been said about our diaspora. There are so many of us overseas, so many families in obviously New Zealand, Australia, and of course America. And there are some differing views from the major players about them. What is the independence stance on that? What do you want to bring them in, make them a part of our decision making, or are you more along the lines of let them develop their families overseas and focus on their own local government?
Thank you. See, wherever you live in this four corners of the globe, if you have a slight drop of Samoan blood, you are a Samoan. You are a Samoan. Doesn't matter where you live. You made your home in that country. You made it your home, as in raise your family, schooling, and you're not gonna say that makes you not a Samoan. And we all go overseas for better future. That's what we always say. Better future, better education, opportunities is more. But we want to take it back again to instilling that the culture that we have. Everything goes back to culture, respect, living in harmonious with your elders, who are not necessarily right all the time, and how things are done in the islands are very traditional. And we come back with the Western way of doing things, and we go, that's wrong, this is right. Remember, you're bringing in a Western culture to a very traditional culture. They're not wrong, they're both right. You just need to see how it can be molded together, find what's suitable and relevant. Sometimes it's the way you deliver. Why I'm saying this is it's the two cultures clashing that's actually making us divided. And the money that is being sent from overseas saying, you know, we are actually, you live in Samoa, blah, blah, and you're not doing anything. It's us that's developing. But we shouldn't. It's your choice. It's your own family that you are developing. Because when you come visit your family and you go to your village, to your family, and you see the standard of living is not up to the standard of living that you're used to, who do you blame? You know, we are a communal, really, we're a communal country in a sense. We help each other. Families here will ring, and when you come from overseas, they host you. They will go out of their way to make sure you get the best food, get the best of everything at home. You may be staying in a hotel, but you don't get the native chicken, the mo Samoa, and all that food that you've been craving for. And what do you do? What do you get from your families here? They will serve you like royals with what you've been craving for all this time, all these years. I've got nothing against the diaspora overseas, because I said I've got plenty of families living overseas. They contribute when we have fun, family falavelas. We come together when we have gatherings and that. But when it comes to getting them to vote for how things are running, I think it should still be left to the people living in the country. They actually vote for the country, for the leaders in the country they live. And no one is telling them, no, because you're Samoan, for instance, you can't vote for the leaders in New Zealand because you're Samoan. They're already voting for, because it's where they live. But to actually, unless you're a Matai, it's allowed. And it's also allowed. The diaspora, they just need to come and register and then travel back. But to allow, I think there was a suggestion, and I did appear before a select committee, whether we are ready to now allow our Samoans living overseas vote online. I said no. There's a whole lot that needs to be done. Even New Zealand, they don't allow. They allow you to vote in the embassy to go in, but you also need to register. You go in, they give you a ballot paper. And I've done it here. And then they have that diplomatic mail, take it down to the electoral office in New Zealand, and that's why it allows several, days for their counting to be final. So they can. You just need to make that trip to register, and then make the second trip to come and vote, just like because the only thing that they may not qualify for is their residence, because they haven't. But for the Matai, they can. Anyone that has a Matai title living overseas can come and register and then come back and vote. So there is mechanism allowing, or there is. So again, it needs to be thoroughly looked at. What is the big fuss? What is the big fuss? Because it's actually creating that division and making diaspora look like bad people, making us living on the island, in the country, bad people, because we're refusing to get them to come and they can. The Matais can. Just come and register and then go. It's an expensive exercise, but if they really want to have that vote, they
have
can.
that say.
But so as I said, I've got nothing against diaspora. They make fun of people here. People here make fun of them. But that's the nature of Samoans. We have cousins and we make fun of them when we come together. We go, hey, you diaspora people, go back. We laugh. We laugh. And they call us, hey, coconut people. I mean, Samoans joke. Samoans have a very funny sense of humor. But that sense of humor can also turn into, misa.
I've been asking everyone I've interviewed so far about the methamphetamine epidemic here in Samoa. It's probably one of the biggest issues that our society is facing. As you well know, Fiji is really, it's riddled. Tonga facing serious problems as well. And, just looking at the next 5 years is very critical for how we address this problem, how we can possibly stem this tide before it really, really takes over. Has this been part of the discussions of the independence group, and how would you look at addressing that going forward?
Thank you. You know, I hate that word. I use it every day in court. Drugs. Let's just say drugs. Drugs is a worldwide problem, and it's not just something that is, you know, seen in the Pacific. The reason why it's obvious in the Pacific is because we are so small, and a little packet found becomes a massive issue. It's a problem. It is a problem in the whole world. You know, if you look around, and I say this because this is part of my work. Being a lawyer for, I'm not going to say how many years because it'll give away my age. But I've been a lawyer for long. I think it's only in the last 10 years. The prevalence of narcotics, as in drugs, have popped up. It used to be, we used to defend marijuana. The ice that we refer to, the hardcore drugs that's now making its home, and it's permanent, it's staying in the Pacific and in Samoa. We really need to look at how is it making its way into the country. I'm pretty sure business people, sorry, not men, the business community have some input into it, some hand in bringing it in. I won't be surprised if there are leaders, and I'm not scared to say that because, you know, you can be a pusher, a supplier, and that without being a user. And it all comes down to this greed for wealth. It's that. It's greed for wealth. Now we only need to look around ourselves. There's someone that's working so hard, and you still look at them struggling to even enjoy the hard work. And then you have someone that you know only doing something from this, and you see them on the road here and there. But they're driving luxury cars and spending. So there's something wrong in it. We need to really look at where is the source coming from. It's not a drug that is locally grown, for sure. It's not. It is something that is being brought into the country now. Recently, the police commissioner said the main gateway of drugs making it, the ice making it to Samoa, is from American Samoa. That did not sit well in the House of the Senate or for the leaders in American Samoa, and correctly so as well, because they need to also look at where is this drug that we are telling it's from them. We need to look at in controlling our borders. We really need to control our borders. And this is where we go back to our values, of creating sustainable financial avenues in the villages, where families, the youth, will actually, you know, develop, become entrepreneurship, and not relying on the handouts.
Yeah.
Because we need money. It's a fact. We need money to do the church stuff, family stuff, village stuff, and then look after our own families. I mean, if I work hard and if I plant in a village, of course, I will need to sell something to get my beer, for instance. I mean, I deserve to get that one beer because I worked hard for it. Not give away all the money that I earn. I also need my own social enjoyment to be take care of. But going back to our sustainable development in rural areas, it makes us less reliant. It will make us less reliant on the outside families, extended families, and people giving. And it should force them to not look at pushing the selling of ice, selling of drugs, and just creating more awareness of the real impact of all this to their own social development. Not just it's almost the same as what we're doing right now, what we're going through right now for election now. Short-lived, we are short-lived with our vision of what we want and how we're getting there. What I mean is, candidate will come up and give you 50, for instance. Everyone's doing it. Everyone is giving that 50 for, I'm not saying it's 50 tala, maybe less, or I'm using 50 as an example. Give you 50 and you go, oh, okay, I'm gonna vote for him. You take your 50, come tomorrow, you'll need another 50. Just like ice. You go push, you get your money. Tomorrow, you want some more. You go push again. Go push again. Doesn't have to be that way. Doesn't have. Honest, earned money from your hard labor. It's not a short-term revenue. It's a lifetime. And we need to teach ourselves, remind ourselves that you will never become a millionaire overnight. You will never. We will never. Any quick cash that you get through any criminal activity or through any means of corrupt and quick as they come and quick as they go. God is not stupid. God will never give you the right frame of mind to spend that money. It'll finish quickly. And then you're going to want to go some more. Before you know it, you get caught and you're on the other side of the law. And that, I don't think any family, any children, any son or daughter won't want to see their parent, or because we are looking at the parents, one set of parents, or the parents are involved. So it's a worldwide problem, drugs. But we need to really look at protecting our borders to see where is this drug coming from. Are we doing enough? I'd say no, because the volume of drugs that is being found, and it's almost every 2 weeks, every week, and people are not scared using and talking about it now. Not scared of talking about it. They talk openly. So it's the problem that we all need to combat collectively. Hence, start from families, from village. We just need to all pull ourselves together, get the leaders behind. Someone is behind it, bringing in the drugs. We need to pin that. We really do.
It would be hard to make any changes if there are people at the top or in leadership that are actually involved in whatever it is, whatever their involvement is. It just makes it that much harder to make any changes.
But, as I said, we need to really look at our borders. Port of entry. I don't want to name groups or nationality, but we need to check the ports of entries for it's the only way to look at. If we need to get more of the Nafanua boat, that patrol boat that we have, let's ask. We only have one to monitor the Polu and survive. We need to monitor even our own fishing boats. Not just, when I say fishing boats, I'm not saying just the local boats. No, we've got the big fishing boats anchored in our port. We need to look at that. We need to check on that. Because they spent so many days or months out in the...
Out at sea.
And there's a lot of transaction that's going on out in open waters.
Yeah.
But we need to check.
Yeah.
We have the yachts coming in. We need to check our port, our borders.
Yeah, because in Fiji they had those big super yachts come in, and they found very big stashes. That biggest stash actually.
Yeah. So that is where we want to strengthen. We want to strengthen our borders, our port of entries, and I mean, if we're given that opportunity to be in there, and we're definitely gonna ask for a second or a third patrol boat, because we need one to be stationed in Savai, not just here in Apia. And we need to have maybe more than just those patrol boats, because there's a whole lot of transactions going out in open waters, and our patrol boat can't catch them. So we need, that's building or rebuilding and reinstating those core family values and culture and stuff. And that's our internal. That's something internal to rebuild our own youth and our people. But to compact what's already making its way, what the world is all facing, we really need to strengthen our border control, our port of entry, and we need to have honest people to be in those positions, so that we can compact collectively, while our village and our leaders are, reaffirming to our own people the values in this and that. Our people manning those very vital services do their work. But we can't teach our kids and everyone here that this is wrong and that. And you get a whole shipment of coming through, and you got someone in the port slipping through. What's the point of us doing this and there's stuff circulating? So
a holistic approach to complement across the
needs
board.
Needs to be.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that.
This is not just 1 day or 1 year. We're electing leaders for the next 5 years, and a government for 5 years. Make sure you have that in mind, and not casting your vote for a candidate that you favor because they came and gave you stuff. But look at the candidate can actually deliver, for not just the constituent, not just for you, but for the whole country, contributing to developing our country for the next 5 years.